In this video, I will discuss the 8 things you should avoid exposing to others according to Stoic philosophy. By watching this video, you will gain insights into the importance of self-improvement, self-reliance, and cultivating inner virtues. Understanding and implementing these principles can have a profound impact on your life, allowing you to find inner peace, resilience, and contentment. The video will provide practical examples and explanations to help you understand these concepts better. I encourage you to stay stoic and watch till the end to fully grasp the message and potential benefits for your personal growth. Lesson 1. Keeping your fears to yourself. In Stoic philosophy, one of the lessons that can significantly impact our lives is the notion of keeping our fears to ourselves. Stoicism teaches us to confront and overcome our fears rather than allowing them to control us. By internalizing and working on our fears privately, we can develop courage and resilience, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and peaceful existence. Fear is a natural emotion that arises when we perceive a threat or danger. However, Stoics believe that excessive fear can hinder personal growth and prevent us from fully experiencing life. When we constantly expose our fears to others, seeking validation or reassurance, we become dependent on external sources for our own sense of security and confidence. This external dependence can be detrimental to our emotional well-being, as it leaves us vulnerable to the opinions and actions of others. By keeping our fears to ourselves, we are encouraged to confront them directly. Stoicism teaches us that the path to conquering fear lies in understanding its root causes and challenging the irrational beliefs that underlie it. This internal process of self-reflection and self-improvement allows us to build resilience and develop the strength to face our fears head-on. Furthermore, by working on our fears privately, we avoid burdening others with our anxieties. Constantly expressing our fears can create a negative atmosphere and potentially impact the relationships we have with those around us. Stoics value self-control and emotional stability, and by keeping our fears to ourselves, we demonstrate a sense of composure and strength. By internalizing our fears, we also gain the opportunity to develop a deeper understanding of ourselves. We can explore the underlying patterns and triggers that cause our fears to arise. This self-exploration allows us to cultivate self-awareness and develop strategies to manage and overcome our fears effectively. Stoicism teaches us that fear often stems from our attachment to external outcomes in circumstances beyond our control. By focusing on what is within our control, such as our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we can reduce the power that fear holds over us. This shift in perspective empowers us to face challenges and uncertainties with a calm and rational mindset. Additionally, keeping our fears to ourselves allows us to avoid unnecessary worry and rumination. Constantly sharing our fears can perpetuate a cycle of anxiety as we become fixated on the negative possibilities. Stoic philosophy encourages us to embrace the present moment and accept that some things are beyond our control. By redirecting our energy towards what we can control, we can find peace and contentment in the face of uncertainty. In conclusion, keeping our fears to ourselves is an essential lesson from Stoic philosophy. By confronting and overcoming our fears privately, we develop courage, resilience, and emotional stability. This internal process of self-reflection and self-improvement allows us to face challenges head-on, while also avoiding burdening others with our anxieties. By focusing on what is within our control and embracing the present moment, we can find peace and fulfillment in our lives. Let us embrace this Stoic lesson and strive to cultivate inner strength and tranquility. Lesson number 2 from the list of things you should not expose to others, according to Stoic philosophy, is your desires. Stoicism teaches that excessive attachment to desires can lead to suffering and discontentment. Instead of constantly pursuing external things, Stoics emphasize the importance of cultivating inner virtues, such as wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. In our modern society, we are often bombarded with messages and advertisements urging us to acquire more and more material possessions. We are conditioned to believe that our happiness and fulfillment depend on external factors such as wealth, fame, or material possessions. However, Stoicism challenges this notion by encouraging us to shift our focus inward and recognize that true fulfillment comes from developing our character and living in accordance with our values. Desires, in and of themselves, are not inherently negative. It is natural for human beings to have desires and ambitions. However, Stoics believe that it is important to examine and temper these desires, ensuring they align with our values and do not become all-consuming. When we become excessively attached to our desires, we can easily fall into a cycle of constant longing and dissatisfaction. We may believe that acquiring a certain possession or achieving a specific goal will bring us lasting happiness. However, Stoicism teaches that external circumstances are often beyond our control, and relying on them for our happiness is a recipe for disappointment. Instead, Stoics advocate for a focus on cultivating virtues within ourselves. By developing qualities such as wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control, we can find a sense of fulfillment that is independent of external circumstances. These virtues serve as a guiding compass, helping us make decisions and act in accordance with our values, rather than being swayed by fleeting desires or societal pressures. For example, imagine a person who desires wealth above all else. They may spend their life relentlessly pursuing financial success at the expense of their relationships, health, and personal well-being. However, according to Stoicism, this excessive attachment to wealth can lead to a constant state of dissatisfaction. If their wealth is ever diminished or lost, their happiness and sense of self-worth are also at risk. Instead, Stoics encourage us to detach from these external desires and focus on cultivating virtues that bring lasting fulfillment. By shifting our focus from the pursuit of material possessions to the development of qualities like wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control, we can find a deeper sense of purpose and contentment. Practicing this lesson in our daily lives requires self-awareness and a willingness to reflect on our desires and motivations. By examining our desires, we can discern whether they are rooted in genuine values or merely driven by societal pressures or external influences. We can then make conscious choices to align our desires with our values, ensuring that they contribute to our overall well-being and personal growth. By embracing this Stoic lesson and shifting our focus from external desires to inner virtues, we can free ourselves from the constant pursuit of material possessions and find a deeper sense of fulfillment. We can develop a sense of self-reliance and contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. This shift in perspective can lead to a more resilient and fulfilling life as we cultivate a sense of inner peace and harmony. Lesson number 3 from the list is about not exposing your regrets to others, and instead focusing on learning from your experiences. Regret is a common human emotion that arises from a sense of disappointment or guilt over past actions or decisions. It can be a heavy burden to carry, hindering our personal growth and preventing us from fully embracing the present moment. Stoicism offers valuable insights on how to handle regrets in a constructive and transformative manner. Stoics believe that dwelling on past mistakes or regrets is unproductive and counterproductive. Instead of wallowing in remorse, they advocate for using these experiences as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. By shifting our perspective, we can learn valuable lessons from our past actions and make wiser choices in the future. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is the concept of the dichotomy of control. According to this philosophy, there are things within our control, such as our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and there are thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and there are things outside our control, such as external events and other people's opinions. Regrets often stem from focusing on things that are beyond our control, such as past actions or outcomes. Stoics encourage us to redirect our attention to what we can control, our present actions and future choices. By acknowledging our regrets and examining the reasons behind them, we can identify the lessons they hold. Stoics emphasize the importance of self-reflection and self-awareness as tools for personal growth. Through introspection, we can gain valuable insights into our values, motivations, and areas for improvement. This process of self-examination allows us to make better choices in the future and avoid repeating past mistakes. Stoicism also teaches us to embrace the concept of amor fati, which means the love of fate or acceptance of what has happened. Rather than lamenting over what could have been, Stoics encourage us to accept the past as an integral part of our journey. By accepting and embracing our past actions, we can find peace within ourselves and move forward with a sense of purpose and clarity. Moreover, Stoicism emphasizes the cultivation of virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. By focusing on developing these virtues, we can build a strong moral character and make decisions that align with our values. When regrets arise, we can reflect on whether our past actions were in line with these virtues. This self-assessment allows us to grow morally and make choices that bring us closer to living a virtuous life. It's important to note that Stoicism doesn't advocate for suppressing emotions or denying the existence of regrets. Instead, it encourages us to approach our regrets with a rational and objective mindset. By acknowledging our emotions and examining them through a Stoic lens, we can gain clarity and develop a healthier perspective. In conclusion, lesson number 3 from the list advises against exposing our regrets to others and instead focusing on learning from our experiences. Stoicism teaches us to view regrets as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. By shifting our perspective, embracing self-reflection, and cultivating virtues, we can transform regrets into valuable life lessons. This practice enables us to make wiser choices, find inner peace, and live a more fulfilled and virtuous life. So, let us embrace the wisdom of Stoicism and strive for self-improvement, leaving regrets behind and embracing a future filled with growth and resilience. Lesson number 4, your praise-seeking behavior. In Stoic philosophy, the pursuit of external validation and constant approval is viewed as an obstacle to living a virtuous life. Seeking praise from others can lead to a never-ending cycle of seeking external validation, compromising our own values, and relying on others for our self-worth. This lesson teaches us the importance of developing self-reliance, cultivating inner virtues, and finding contentment from within. When we become overly focused on seeking praise, we become vulnerable to the opinions and judgments of others. Our sense of self-worth becomes contingent upon their approval. This leaves us susceptible to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and disappointment when we don't receive the validation we seek. Stoicism reminds us that our worth should not be determined by the opinions or perceptions of others. Instead, it encourages us to focus on our own actions, intentions, and character. The Stoics believe that true happiness and fulfillment come from living in accordance with virtue and reason, rather than seeking external rewards or accolades. By shifting our focus inward, we can align our actions and intentions with our own moral compass, independent of others' opinions. This allows us to lead a more authentic and meaningful life. One of the key practices in overcoming praise-seeking behavior is to cultivate self-acceptance. Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting ourselves as we are, flaws and all. By recognizing our own inherent worth and embracing our imperfections, we can lessen our dependence on external validation. This doesn't mean we should stop striving for self-improvement, but rather that our self-worth shouldn't be tied solely to external praise. Another aspect of this lesson is the idea of staying true to our values and principles, even in the face of criticism or disapproval. Stoicism encourages us to act in accordance with our own moral convictions and not be swayed by the opinions of others. By maintaining our integrity and staying committed to our principles, we can find a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that is not dependent on external validation. Practicing gratitude is also an important component of overcoming praise-seeking behavior. Stoics believe that by appreciating what we have and focusing on the present moment, we can find contentment and reduce our desire for constant approval. Gratitude shifts our focus away from seeking external validation and allows us to recognize the value and beauty in our own lives. By embracing these principles, we can free ourselves from the constant need for praise and validation from others. We can develop a stronger sense of self, grounded in our own values and virtues. This not only leads to greater self-confidence and self-acceptance, but also enables us to make decisions that are aligned with our true selves. In conclusion, lesson number 4 from Stoic philosophy teaches us to change our praise seeking behavior. By shifting our focus inward, cultivating self-acceptance, staying true to our values, and practicing gratitude, we can break free from the cycle of seeking external validation. By embracing our own worth and finding contentment from within, we can lead a more authentic and fulfilling life. Remember, true happiness lies in living a virtuous life, not in the pursuit of praise from others. Stay stoic and embrace the wisdom of this lesson to experience a deeper sense of fulfillment and inner peace. Lesson number 5 from the list of things you should not expose to others according to Stoic philosophy is vanity. Stoics emphasize the importance of humility and modesty, advocating for a mindset that focuses on inner virtues rather than external appearances or validation. In this lesson, we will explore the concept of vanity, its detrimental effects, and how Stoic teachings can guide us towards a more grounded and fulfilling life. Vanity can be defined as an excessive or exaggerated pride in one's appearance, achievements, or possessions. It stems from a deep need for validation and admiration from others, often leading individuals to prioritize external validation over inner growth and virtue. Stoics argue that by constantly seeking external praise and focusing on superficial attributes, we lose sight of what truly matters, our character and moral values. The Stoic approach to vanity involves cultivating humility and modesty. Instead of valuing oneself based on external factors such as physical attractiveness or material possessions, Stoics encourage individuals to prioritize moral and intellectual virtues. They believe that true worth lies in one's character, wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. By shifting our focus from external appearances to internal qualities, we can free ourselves from the constant need for validation and comparison. Stoicism teaches that seeking validation from others is unreliable and can lead to a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. Instead, by valuing and developing our inner virtues, we can find a sense of fulfillment and contentment that is independent of external opinions. Practicing humility also helps us maintain a realistic perspective of ourselves and the world around us. Stoics believe that excessive self-centeredness or self-promotion can lead to arrogance and a distorted perception of reality. Humility allows us to acknowledge our limitations, embrace our imperfections, and recognize the interconnectedness of all human beings. By understanding that we are part of a larger whole, we can cultivate empathy and compassion towards others, fostering healthier relationships and a more harmonious society. Moreover, vanity often leads to an attachment to external possessions or achievements, which can be fleeting and transient. Stoics emphasize the importance of recognizing the impermanence of external factors and instead focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, choices, and actions. By anchoring ourselves in our inner virtues, we can find stability and resilience in the face of life's uncertainties and challenges. To overcome vanity, Stoics encourage regular self-reflection and introspection. By examining our motivations, desires, and attachments, we can identify areas where vanity may be influencing our thoughts and actions. This self-awareness allows us to consciously redirect our focus towards cultivating inner virtues and pursuing a meaningful life. In conclusion, the Stoic lesson of avoiding vanity teaches us to prioritize inner virtues over external validation. By cultivating humility, modesty, and a focus on moral and intellectual qualities, we can break free from the constant need for approval and comparison. Embracing our imperfections, recognizing our interconnectedness with others, and anchoring ourselves in what is within our control allows us to find lasting fulfillment and inner peace. By incorporating these Stoic teachings into our lives, we can navigate the complexities of the world with a sense of purpose and authenticity. Lesson 6. Your anger. In Stoic philosophy, the management of emotions, particularly anger, is a crucial aspect of leading a virtuous life. The Stoics believe that anger often stems from unmet expectations or a lack of control over external events. By understanding and applying the principles of Stoicism, we can learn to navigate our emotions and respond to challenging situations with reason, leading to inner tranquility and a more fulfilling life. Anger is a natural human emotion, but the Stoics recognize that it can often be irrational and destructive. When we allow anger to consume us, we lose control over our thoughts, actions, and ultimately, our own happiness. Stoicism teaches us that anger is a choice, and by cultivating self-awareness and practicing self-control, we can learn to manage and even eliminate this destructive emotion. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the distinction between what is within our control and what is outside of it. Stoics believe that our thoughts, beliefs, and actions are within our control, while external events and the actions of others are not. When we become angry, it is often because we are attached to certain outcomes or are reacting to the actions of others. By recognizing that we cannot control external events or the behavior of others, we can shift our focus towards what is within our control, our own thoughts and action. This shift in perspective empowers us to respond to situations with reason and maintain our inner peace. Stoicism also encourages us to practice empathy and understanding. When we encounter situations that trigger anger, it is essential to consider the perspective of others and the underlying reasons for their action. By practicing empathy, we can develop a more compassionate and rational response, rather than reacting impulsively out of anger. Moreover, Stoicism teaches that the actions of others are a reflection of their own character and values, and it is not our place to judge or become consumed by anger towards them. To manage anger effectively, Stoics suggest using the technique of cognitive reframing. This involves challenging and reframing our thoughts and perceptions about a situation. By examining our beliefs and questioning their validity, we can gain a more rational and balanced perspective. For example, if someone cuts in front of us in line, instead of immediately feeling anger, we can reframe the situation by considering alternative explanations. Perhaps the person is in a hurry or unaware of the lie. By reframing our thoughts, we can avoid unnecessary anger and respond with patience and understanding. By practicing Stoic principles and managing our anger, we can experience numerous benefits in our lives. Firstly, we gain control over our emotions and avoid being controlled by them. This allows us to maintain inner tranquility, even in challenging circumstances. Secondly, by responding to situations with reason rather than anger, we are more likely to make wise decisions and maintain healthier relationships. Anger often leads to regrettable actions and strained connections, while a Stoic approach promotes harmony and understanding. Furthermore, managing anger enables us to cultivate resilience and adaptability. Stoicism teaches us that external events are often beyond our control, and anger only serves to hinder our ability to adapt and find solutions. By accepting the impermanence of external circumstances and focusing on our own virtues, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. In conclusion, Stoicism offers valuable insights into managing anger and cultivating emotional well-being. By understanding the principles of self-control, empathy, and cognitive reframing, we can learn to respond to challenging situations with reason and maintain our inner peace. By embracing Stoic practices, we can lead more fulfilling lives, free from the destructive influence of anger and focused on personal growth and virtue. Lesson 7. Your gossiping tendencies. In Stoic philosophy, one of the lessons we learn is to avoid engaging in gossip. Gossiping is the act of discussing or spreading rumors or personal information about others, often in a negative or judgmental manner. Stoics advise against this behavior due to its detrimental effects on both ourselves and those we talk about. By refraining from gossiping, we can cultivate virtues such as kindness, empathy, and mindfulness, leading to a more harmonious and virtuous life. Gossiping is often driven by the desire for social validation or a sense of superiority. It can create a toxic environment, damage relationships, and breed negativity. Stoics recognize that gossiping is a reflection of our own character flaws and a diversion from pursuing true happiness and virtue. By engaging in gossip, we are wasting our precious time and energy on trivial matters that do not contribute to our personal growth or well-being. When we gossip, we not only harm the person we are talking about, but also ourselves. Stoics believe that our thoughts and actions shape our character. By engaging in negative conversations about others, we are reinforcing negative thought patterns within ourselves. This can lead to a more cynical and judgmental mindset, hindering our ability to cultivate virtues such as kindness and understanding. Furthermore, gossiping can erode trust among friends and acquaintances. When others witness us engaging in gossip, they may question our integrity and feel hesitant to confide in us. Stoics emphasize the importance of fostering strong relationships built on trust and mutual respect. By refraining from gossip, we are more likely to create an environment of trust and openness, where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and experiences. Practicing mindfulness is another key aspect of Stoic philosophy, and gossiping is counterproductive to this practice. Mindfulness involves being present, aware, and focused on the current moment. When we gossip, we are diverting our attention from the present moment and engaging in idle chatter that serves no purpose. By cultivating mindfulness and directing our energy towards meaningful conversations and pursuits, we can lead a more fulfilling and purposeful life. To overcome our gossiping tendencies, Stoics encourage us to develop empathy and understanding. Instead of judging or criticizing others, we should strive to understand their perspectives and experiences. This shift in mindset allows us to approach conversations with kindness and compassion. Stoics remind us that everyone is fighting their own battles and that we should be mindful of the impact our words can have on others. By refraining from gossiping, we also set an example for others to follow. Our behavior influences those around us, and by choosing to engage in positive and meaningful conversations, we inspire others to do the same. In this way, we contribute to creating a virtuous and supportive community. In conclusion, lesson number 7 from the Stoic philosophy advises us to avoid engaging in gossip. Gossiping is detrimental to both ourselves and others, hindering personal growth, damaging relationships, and fostering negativity. By refraining from gossip, we can cultivate virtues such as kindness, empathy, and mindfulness, leading to a more harmonious and virtuous life. Let us remember the wise words of Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, who said, "Be careful then of the things you utter, and do not gossip about people's lives unless you have a clear understanding of their struggles and sufferings." Lesson 8. Your need for external validation. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of seeking external validation is viewed as a hindrance to our personal growth and inner peace. The need for validation from others often stems from a lack of self-confidence and self-acceptance. Stoicism encourages us to rely on our own judgment and find contentment from within, rather than constantly seeking approval from others. In today's society, it is easy to fall into the trap of seeking external validation. We often measure our self-worth based on the opinions and approval of others. Whether it is through social media, peer pressure, or societal expectations, the desire for validation can become consuming, leading to a constant need for affirmation and recognition. However, Stoics believe that true fulfillment and happiness come from within. They advocate for self-reliance and cultivating a strong sense of self, independent of external influences. By shifting our focus inward and learning to accept ourselves unconditionally, we can break free from the cycle of seeking validation and find contentment in our own achievements and virtues. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the cultivation of virtues, such as wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. These virtues are not dependent on the opinions of others, but are intrinsic qualities that we can develop and nurture within ourselves. By prioritizing the development of these virtues, we can build a solid foundation of self-worth that is independent of external validation. The Stoics also remind us that the opinions of others are often beyond our control. We cannot control how others perceive us or whether they approve of us. Therefore, seeking validation from others becomes an exercise in futility. Instead, Stoics encourage us to focus on what is within our control, our own thoughts, actions, and character. By shifting our mindset away from seeking validation, we can free ourselves from the constant pressure to conform or please others. We become less affected by criticism or judgment as we understand that our self-worth is not determined by external factors. This newfound freedom allows us to be authentic and true to ourselves, regardless of others' opinions. Furthermore, by relying on our own judgment and values, we become more resilient in the face of challenges and setbacks. Stoics believe that true strength comes from within, and by cultivating inner virtues, we develop a strong sense of self that is not easily swayed by external circumstances. This inner strength allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and composure. In summary, Lesson 8 of the Stoic Philosophy advises us to break free from the need for external validation. By shifting our focus inward, cultivating virtues, and relying on our own judgment, we can find true contentment and inner peace. This lesson reminds us to prioritize self-acceptance and self-improvement, rather than seeking constant affirmation from others. By staying stoic and embracing this lesson, we can foster a sense of self-worth that is independent of external opinions, leading to a more fulfilling and resilient life.